It seems like I'm always leaving perfectly great parks to head into perfectly great forests, but it seems weird. I always go to these places where there's nice civilization, nice bathrooms, and then I wander off into the woods. The air, which means the air is charged. You can feel it. It gives you energy, but it's a different kind of energy. It's not like I'm gonna run around and be crazy. No, it's like electricity is in the air. It's in this, let's use the right word, even though it was banished by science. The ether. You can feel it in the ether. It's just connected. It's floating. The ions, they're just charged. You hear that? Now what I'm doing is getting as far away from my truck as possible. That way when the storm comes, I have to run really fast to get back there. Back to the camp where whoever was living there, and we left food and drinks. I think that was super sweet, and I wanted to know if any of you have had a chance to do anything like that since we did the video together. I'd really love to know what's happening in your worlds. What kind of things are you going through? What's bothering you? What's making you happy? Let's not even go down the route of what's bothering you. What's making you happy right now? What's going on in the world that gives you hope? Because it's there. Certainly hope everywhere. The problem with the news is that it wants you to see the bad stuff, because that's what generates views, that's what generates income for them. So they show you the most shocking news they can. And what happens is over time, that kind of ingrains itself here, makes you believe that everything's like that. But it's really not. Everywhere you look, people are doing nice things for one another. If you pay attention, you can see the beauty in the world that we're always saying we need to bring. It's here. We just have to put it into the forefront. We should all get together and make a news source that only reports positive news in this world. Only good things people have done for each other. What do you guys think about that? Imagine if every morning you woke up, dun 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 dun. Welcome to Positivity News Today, your number one source for all things good in the human race. I don't know. It sounds like it'd be fun. What do you think? Where am I? I've been here before. I've never seen this place. The water's up high. It's been raining for a long time. There was tornado watches and things in Alabama yesterday. I'm in Georgia, by the way. I'm sure some of you know that, but if you're in Georgia, you know, want to go on a walk? Got to clear it through my wife first. But maybe we could make some sort of a tour, or I could show you guys Native American sites in the mountains here in Georgia. Secret places that no one knows about, such as the rock shelter my grandfather and I discovered deep within Dawson Forest. When I was a little kid, my granddad used to scoop me up from my house and take me out into the world to have an adventure, just like this. In fact, sometimes I think I'm replicating those experiences that I had with him. And he's not dead. He's still here. He's just old, and he lives in another state, which is, it's sad. I call him every week. Sometimes I miss one, but I do my best. He calls me too, which is cool. Old, can't remember anything, but he calls me. Anyway, we were hiking, and he had discovered a rock shelter before. He wanted to get me there, and we walked and we walked and we walked. It's a couple hours probably to get to it. And we get there, and it's this beautiful overhanging rock. And we took a lot of digital stills there, pictures, sorry for you younger guys. And when I say guys, I don't mean males, I just mean, it's a general word, I'm sorry. But we take a bunch of pictures, and you know, we had a digital camera toward the end. We would go back every year, but when we first went there, we only had Polaroids and film. So they had to be printed. You know, you have to go to these photo stores back then, and you drop off your film and come back later for it. You had no idea what was on there. But we would see spirit orbs and entities, and I'm not talking about just, oh look, there's a lens flare. I mean, there's a full figure standing there. And my granddad always told me that they came out for us more strongly, or more corporeal. Yeah, more corporeal. Sorry, struggling today with my mind is tired. And so there would be real images of things there. And one time we were there, started digging near the bank, and we found pottery. And it wasn't just a couple shards of pottery. This was so interesting because it was an entire pot that we found, just in pieces. So we dug there and we dug there and we dug there and we found them. And then we took it home. My grandfather reassembled them and, glued them all together. It was really nice. I mean, it was cool. It had all the engravings on it. But that night, while we were sleeping, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, we all wake up and we're like, what's that smell? It smells like beans. So I get up, my granddad's already up. He's like, you smell that? I said, yes. My grandmother was up, and she was not exactly a spiritual person. So whenever my grandfather and I would speak about spirits and things, she wasn't too interested. But she's like, yeah, I smell that. What is that? We went around the house, we couldn't figure it out. We all thought maybe somebody got up and started cooking. But then we all got around that pot and we leaned our heads in. Somebody's cooking in this dang pot. So everyone's freaking out. Like, what do we do? What do we do? Something's cooking in this thing. So we're like, okay, maybe that's not it. Next night, what the heck? Somebody's cooking again. You go out there, it's that dadgum pot. Well, it freaked my grandmother out so much, she made us smash the pot back into all of its original pieces. She made us drive up to Dawson Forest. She made us make that long hike, and she made us bury it right back where we found it. True story. So that pot is still there, and we don't believe anything evil was associated with it. Nothing was there trying to attack us, because we do our best to put as much respect into everything we can, especially when dealing with our ancestors. I mean, this is where my ancestors lived, right here. The Cherokee and the Muskogee, or Creek. I'm the Muskogee. We're right here in Georgia. So when I'm looking at something or I'm in a sacred site, I'm remembering, these are my family members. This property was their home. This is where they did what they did. And if you show them respect, they can connect to you, and you can learn from this. Everywhere is covered in spirits. And I don't mean, bodiless things just wandering around everywhere, but it's more like the quartz, the rock, the earth. It has memory. They use rocks or crystal quartz, they use quartz in hard drives because electrically it can store data. So they use them for that. And I believe that if there's an intense enough energetic exchange, that it can store in this earth. So this earth has a memory. And that memory can be accessed by those who are on the same vibration as that memory or have the key. You know what I mean? If you're on that same vibration, you may have the key to access that information. And that's how it is out here. It's just full of this. And if you can learn to connect from it, you can grow, you can learn, you can just feel connected to who you really are, which is the compilation of all of your ancestors up to this point is you. So if you can learn about that by being where they are or where they were, I think it's beneficial. And so there are spirits everywhere, things to be learned. Anyway, I'm not sure on the moral or the point of this video other than to just talk with you guys and get a chance to spend time with you again. I want to remind you, all this stuff is just that. It's just stuff. Your job, your life, your family even. It's not as serious as we decide to make it. And it's been carefully crafted this way, because how else are you going to get everyone to stay in line, to follow, to pay attention to what you want them to pay attention to? Well, the best way is at the core genetic level to convince them that they must do certain things. Hold a job, pay taxes, keep the larger organism machine alive, which is what we do. So just remember, at the end of every day, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do any of this. It's your choice. So if you're unhappy, many things may be happening to you to kind of make it worse, but it is ultimately up to you. So I leave you in capable hands, because you are all the most important people on the planet. I love you so much, and I really appreciate you being here. If I could get you to, please like and subscribe to the channel and share this with one of your friends, especially somebody who may need it. I love you, and be still.